After Pelmo got taken by the Abyss, Licht considers leaving Hina, but he decides to stay after she sleep talks asking him to stay. As such, he tells her not to worry about him leaving. Later, Lin catches up to Licht and thanks him for saving her, but then tries to arrest him. With Lin and Hina already having met before, they swap stories of how they encountered Licht and thus become mad at him. Nana then arranges a cooking battle between Lin and Hina to draw in customers with Licht as the ultimate grand prize. Nevertheless, Lin buys vegetables while Hina traps wild beasts, showing how she's actually intimidatingly skilled at defeating dangerous animals. Meanwhile, Lin creates a vegetable stew concoction while Hina creates a meat stew with a deadly aura. Licht then enjoys both, but while Hina's is clearly superior, Licht gets put on the spot when the crowd demands he choose a winner. However, he gets saved from having to disappoint one of them when Jail Murdoch arrives and berates Lin for being distracted again. Afterwards, Licht threatens to run away, placing the blame on Murdoch instead of Pelpoporil and Lin. After a short fight, Nana steps in and berates them both for acting like children and damaging the town square. Surprisingly, even Murdoch is overwhelmed by her forceful personality and does as she says, even joining in on the festivities. The next morning, Murdoch, Lin, and Pel awaken, hungover, with Nana, Licht, and Hina having snuck away during the night. As they chase them, they come across an injured soldier from another town which has been completely, utterly destroyed. Murdoch and Lin then tries to investigate what happened to Linden, only for Pel to discover a sole survivor, so they ask him what happened. The survivor explained that a fire-breathing abyss demon suddenly appeared from a black hole, so he and the other soldiers tried to stop the demon, but to no avail. Now traumatized, the survivor claims that the demon will surely destroy the Althea. However, Murdoch claims he's lying but eventually relents, so he figures that this must be a powerful ballot holder, only to get his claim refuted when the survivor says it can fly. Meanwhile, in the city of Anisis, Licht and Hina head back to Nana's tavern. Upon arriving, they notice Murdoch and Lin present as well, surprising them. Murdoch then explains that he's here to ask about a so-called abyss demon. Seeing Licht's reaction, Murdoch believes that Licht couldn't be the destroyer, although his reaction seemed unnatural. As such, he threatens him with an iron spike to reveal everything he knows or else he will resort to combat. Nevertheless, they attempt to fight, but Nana stops them and reminds them of what happened last time. Thus, she came out with the idea of having a drinking competition between the two, where the winner gets to make the loser do anything. During the competition, Murdoch kept asking Licht about his identity, only for him to keep ignoring him. Meanwhile, both Hina and Lin observe the two of them sit together. Eventually, Lin gets bored, so she tries some, only for Hina to follow along as well. Knowing the girls can't drink, Nana finishes an entire bottle, in which both girls were shocked. Soon, Nana got too excited, so she interrupts the competition and forces the two to drink more. At the same time, Lin wonders if Hina is Licht's boyfriend. Realizing her face turned red, Lin accidentally becomes more drunk as she drinks the wrong bottle, proclaiming she won't lose to Hina. Suddenly, an earthquake occurs and the group discovers a black hole has appeared. While everyone was confused, the survivor pipes up and says that the abyss demon is coming to destroy the town. Thus, Murdoch orders the civilians to be evacuated while Licht recognizes the sound emanating from the demon. He claims the sound is impossible as all such demons were defeated during the Waste War. As such, he and Murdoch watch as the abyss opens and the demon is revealed to be a modern helicopter armed with machine guns and missiles. The helicopter then attacks, so Licht tells everyone to take cover, but Murdoch resists taking command from someone else. However, Licht reveals he holds a military rank of colonel and draws the helicopter's attention while Murdoch is confused how a criminal could be a colonel. Everyone begins cheering as Licht attacks the helicopter, but the abyss stops him. Meanwhile, Lin reveals the military calls the abyss arms as Althing. Thus, Althing tries to grab the helicopter while Licht attacks Althing, but is shocked by it repeatedly. Hina then asks Murdoch to help, but he refuses as attacking Althing is punishable by execution and he will not let anyone break the law. However, Murdoch accidentally loses his glasses, so now unable to see any laws being broken. Murdoch attacks Althing and the soldiers all coincidentally go blind as well. They create a ladder for Licht to reach a helicopter, but he is shocked after seeing inside the cockpit. The helicopter is suddenly shot down by the insane ace of pursuit Sonohara Mizuka, who possesses the number 32,000. She shoots Murdoch and begins destroying everybody, revealing she is obsessed with following the last order Licht gave her during the Waste War to eliminate everybody. Sonohara then reveals Licht's real name is Ryo, and she wants him to revert to his former bloodthirsty personality and destroy her, or she will finish a nearby child. As such, Licht snaps and ends her men so fast that their bodies simply disappear. He then finally answers Hina and Murdoch's questions of who he is. As such, he reveals he is the Plunderer and he dreams of claiming everything in the country for himself. Nevertheless, Licht engages in a star stake with Sanohara, where Licht gets shot in the chest several times. However, a red power violently erupts from Licht, increasing the count on his sword to 57,000, and he begins moving so fast that even Sanohara cannot see him. Meanwhile, Nana reveals that Licht has been taken over by an evil alternate personality called Shmomen. As such, Shmomen defeats Sanohara and her count drops to 16,000, causing Nana to suspect Sanohara had also been under the influence of an evil personality. Based on her knowledge of Licht's past, Nana explains that Sanohara was actually the kindest of all the aces who never destroyed anyone, but someone must have drugged her to fight Licht, hoping that the evil Shmomen would emerge. Thus, Hina desperately hugs him, but Shmomen almost ends her, but Sanohara comes to the rescue. As Shmomen moves to finish Sanohara, she has a flashback to modern-day Japan, when she and Licht were in high school together. Back in the present, Shmomen is stopped by Murdoch, who challenges him despite the bullet within his chest. As they duel, Shmomen begins to cry and claims he claps enemies so his friends won't have to. Now deciding to honor this, Murdoch fights with all this power unleashed and creates an Iron Warrior which knocks Shmomen unconscious, turning him back into Licht. Unfortunately, Murdoch passes out from his injury. Elsewhere, a general tells several children a darker, alternate version of the tortoise and the hare, and one of his soldiers reveals his name is actually General Shmomen Back. Afterwards, as Licht recovers, his star stake with Sanohara is left unfinished. Althing is unable to leave and begins being sussy with the girls, except for Hina. Meanwhile, Murdoch is summoned by the Supreme Commander Alexandrov Gregorovich, his childish but doting adoptive father. Murdoch then demands to know about Sanohara's soldiers who wore black uniforms, so Gregorovich reveals they are actually the Special Services Unit, or SSU, that serves the royal family as spies, kidnappers, and assassins. Concerning Licht, Gregorovich reveals the Aces were surgically altered human weapons for the Waste Wars, and Licht was the strongest member of the most powerful squad. However, a side effect of the surgery caused the Aces to stop aging, explaining how Licht is still able to be alive. Gregorovich suddenly reveals he knows Murdoch's number has dropped to 12,499 and demands to know if he knows Licht's location. Murdoch lies and it drops to 12,498, so Gregorovich reveals he also knows that he attacked Althing. Regardless, Murdoch returns to finally arrest Licht, who decides to surrender. Meanwhile, a nearby spy reveals that they want Licht to continue plundering. At the same time, Licht asks Murdoch several questions to determine if he is being blackmailed, and Murdoch lies repeatedly, continually dropping his number to 12,496 before trying to arrest Licht. All of a sudden, Nana reveals that she herself is an ace and with an unexplained power sends Murdoch, Hina, Pell, and Lin to modern-day Japan, begging them to change the past where she has failed. In Japan, they see Sanohara and Licht, then known as Rigo, as teenagers in high school. After following Rigo into the school, they get confronted by a delinquent and Murdoch realizes his ballot is actually missing so he can no longer control iron. Meanwhile, Captain Allen and Lieutenant Ferenda explain that Japan is the only country left after a global war and the school is actually a military academy. The headmaster, Major Shmomen, who begins by reading his version of the tortoise and the hare, eventually gets Allen to shoot 3 recruits who laughed. Thus, Rigo takes Shmomen hostage, so Shmomen teaches Rigo how to break his neck, but he refuses and instead offers to die in Hina's place, ignoring Shmomen's intense destructive aura. Luckily, Ferenda calms the situation down by revealing the recruits are still alive, as Allen had used paint bullets to make a point about obeying orders. Nevertheless, Shmomen takes an interest in Rigido's potential while Murdoch is left confused since Rigido is clearly a young Licht, yet looks nothing like his future self at all. Pell then tries to research Althing on a computer, but is blocked. Instead, Allen explains that Althing was a super advanced technology of unknown origin that fell to Earth in the middle of the war. It had the power to force all humans to obey its will following a vote, so humanity voted to destroy nuclear weaponry and ban all war. However, this had unintended consequences that Allen refuses to talk about. Murdoch then begins to suspect Nana not only wants them to help Licht, but she wants them to also discover the true origin of Althing and save their future society.